I request all of you to put your phones in silent. The graduation march is led by Professor Srinivasa Rao, Controller of Examination, Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous, followed by Dr. T. Somasekhar, Chairman, Indian Academy Group of Institution, Professor H.P. KINCHA, Chief Guest for the day, Dr. Srinidhi K. Parthasarathi, Principal, Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous, Ms. Shanli, Vice Principal, Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to please rise as the dignitaries arrive. I request you all to please remain standing for the Indian Academy anthem.
The power to think. We at Indian Academy have the power to create, the power to learn, the power to change. Come, let's be the change. Come, let's change the world. Let's grow, let's shine, let's scale new heights. We at Indian Academy have the power of education. Indian Academy, get ready for life. Indian Academy, get ready for life.
Thank you. I kindly request you all to please take your seats. Graduation is only a concept. In real life, every day you graduate. Graduate is a process that goes until the last day of your life. If you can grasp that, you'll make a difference. Eri Penkovisi. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to this historic and momentous fourth annual graduation ceremony of Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous. Talent and skills are the crops that are nurtured, groomed, and given all possible opportunities to grow and bloom. Graduation is a celebration of harvest of this crop. This is much awaited event in every student's life, as it gives the returns to the efforts put in by students throughout their academic endeavor. It is a day full of joy, a day about pride and accomplishment, a day of celebration. It gives a sense of achievement and a sense of responsibility towards fulfilling further commitments. It fills the heart with mixed feelings, fulfillment and sadness, anxiety and eagerness. Say goodbye to the comfortable and secure life within college walls. Get ready to march to the beat of the business world. There's a lot more to come, goals, challenges, and opportunities. Anything is possible when you just believe in yourself. Thank you. Atiti Devo Bhava means guest is God. We Indians are known for hospitality across the world, and it is a part of code of conduct in our Indian culture. I now request our principal, Dr. Sridhi K. Parthasarathi, to welcome the gathering.
The highest education. The highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, we at IADCA respectfully and obediently bow our heads to welcome the goddess of learning, who has so fondly occupied every heart in this august audience. Respected chief guest of the day, Professor H.P. KINCHA, former Vice Chancellor, VTU, President of today's event, our beloved Chairman, Dr. T. SOMASEKHAR, Controller of Examinations, our Vice Principal, Professor Shalini, Professor Srinivas Rao, our respected trustees, Mrs. Bharati, Ms. Rachana, the Director of Academics, the HOIs, HODs, and the faculty members who are truly the architects of this occasion, as you have tirelessly dedicated yourself for the upliftment of the student fraternity. The graduates who are all receiving your degrees today, and my dearest, 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 dearest students. It's an absolute pleasure to stand in front of you to welcome you all. It's an historic occasion for all of us today as we congregate to share the joy of 599 graduates who are the real energy centers, graduating from these prestigious institutions during the fourth annual graduation ceremony. The sole purpose of this particular function is to add value, one, to your families, to the industry, to the society, to the nation, and the universe at large. For 23 years, IADC has been ceaselessly working to deliver value-based inputs so that the infinite potential which already is inside every student is manifested for the benefit of others. Each and every student who comes to IADC is handheld to purposefully listen, think, apply, construct, deconstruct, reconstruct, and enhance the standards of the environment he or she lives in. It is a matter of great joy to share the company with you this day when we hand the graduates to the corporate universe or to the centers of higher learning. We are indeed fortunate to have Professor H.P. KINCHA with us. He is the former Vice Chancellor of the Vishweshwaraya Technological University, VTU. He has been serving Indian Institute of Science for 42 long years as a professor in electrical and electronics engineering. Professor KINCHA is also with the University of Calgary, National University of Singapore, and various other foreign universities to lend his wisdom quotient. As an advisor to Karnataka Electricity Regulatory Commission and member of State Planning Commission, his contributions have been immense. Having passed his electrical engineering in the year 1966 from Bangalore University, where all of you have graduated, he secured the second rank, and in 1968, he finished his Masters of Engineering from Indian Institute of Science with first rank. And in 1973, he was awarded the Ph.D. IADCA is indeed honored to have him with us today. During his illustrious career, he has been decorated with several awards like Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineering Millennium Award, Lifetime Achievement Award from the Systems Society, Outstanding Power Engineer Award from the IEEE Power Engineering Society, Vishweshwaraya Award by the Institution of Engineers are some of the major awards he has received for his dedication and hard work. Thank you so very much, sir, for being with us today. I request our chairman, Dr. T. Somasekhar, to welcome Professor KINCHA with a potted plant and a book. Thank you, Honorable Chairman. A teacher, researcher, scientist, educationist, edupreneur, administrator, and a passionate leader, Dr. T. Somasekhar, the chairman of IAET, his dream of imparting education to students of our country is being lived by 300 passionate faculty and staff at Indian Academy Group of Institutions. We take this opportunity to welcome you, Dr. Somasekhar. I request the COE to welcome him with a sapling. Dr. Srinivasa Rao, our controller of examinations, who has worked very hard along with the team to make this event possible. He is a Ph.D. in data mining and has immense experience in hand-holding the examination system. He is also the chairman of the BOE for the MCA department of the Vishweshwaraya Technological University. Dr. Rao has authored 2 textbooks in the field of computer programming. Welcome to you, Dr. Rao. Professor Shalini is a thorough disciplinarian, the vice principal who specializes in economics, a teacher by heart, administrator by passion, and author of 4 textbooks in economics. We welcome you, Professor Shalini. I welcome the trust members, trustees who are here with us today to grace the occasion. Thank you so very much for the support. We also have our faculty members, HOIs of this sister institution, and the HODs. We welcome you all. I extend a special welcome to you, my dearest, 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 dearest graduates, who are the cynosure of today's event. Thank you for being with us today. My heartfelt congratulations to all of you as you have contributed one to your families, and my best wishes for your personal and professional success. I know you will make your alma mater proud at all times. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome you to this program. I take immense pleasure in requesting our chairman, Dr. T. Somasekhar, the sculptor of determination and self-confidence, who incessantly chisels only the excellence of the individual, to declare the graduation ceremony open.
Good afternoon, all of you. I declare the graduation ceremony 2021 of Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous open.
Thank you, sir. Transparency is not the same as looking through the straight of a building. It's not just a physical idea, it's also an intellectual one. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to present Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous report on the cohort of 2018-2021 of undergraduate and 2019-2021 of postgraduate. I call upon Professor Srinivasa Rao, the Controller of Examination of Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous, to present the report.
Dear students, year after year, you only grow older. Year after year, you only grow wiser. Year after year, you only shine smarter. But dear graduates, never forget your alma mater. In this quote, I am going to give a report on 2020-21. Respected Chief Guest, Professor H.P. KINCHA, Chairman, Karnataka State Innovation Council, Honorable Chairman, Dr. T. Somasekhar, respected Madam, Mrs. T. Bharati, Secretary IAGI, respected Trust Member, Ms. Rachana, respected Vice Principal, Professor Shalini, our beloved Principal, respected Dr. Srinidhi K. Parthasarathi, all the respected HODs, faculty members, well-wishers, other invited guests, and my dear students. Wish you the warm good afternoon. This is the fourth graduation ceremony for PG students 2019-21 batch, and third graduation day for UG students 2018-21 batch. It is a profound and defining moment for 599 graduates of all disciplines: BCom, BBA, BCA, BSc, BA, and MSc Biochemistry, Biotechnology, Chemistry, Microbiology, Physics, Computer Science, MA English, MCom, MFA, and MTTM. These 599 students are from 12 different countries. They are from India, Congo, Ivory Coast, Mali, Nepal, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Afghanistan. My heartfelt congratulations to all of you. Currently, our college offers 12 programs at UG level in 6 faculties and 10 programs in PG courses such as MA English, MA Biochemistry, Biotechnology, Chemistry, Microbiology, Physics, Computer Science, MCOM, and MFA. And we also offer integrated 5-year degree course, MTTM. College also has a well-stocked library with 36,800 plus books, e-journals, e-books through Influent and Delnet, JGate, and National Digital Library. This academic year, faculty members have attended national and international conferences, seminars, workshops, and published research papers in the academic year. The entire examination process, starting from the preparatory phases and conducting of the examinations right up to the publications of the results, is computerized with the effective workflow management. Seamless transition between the various phases of the examination process has thus been achieved. All information regarding the conduct of end of semester examination is maintained confidentiality in the central system in the Office of the Controller of Examinations. The Office of Controller of Examinations has successfully conducted the online examinations for the even semesters during August and September 2021. Due to the pandemic, thus converging to the required timelines given by the UGC and Karnataka Higher Education. The number of students enrolled in the UG courses are 735 and PG courses are 190. I would like to present the data of the UG gradients. BCom 189, BA 24, BBA 87, BCA 71, and BSc 76. The number of PG gradients are MSc Biochemistry 12, Biotechnology 27, Chemistry 28, Computer Science 8, Microbiology 27, Physics 9, MCOM 16, MFA 13, MA English 7, and MTTM 5. Finally, for the gradients, take pride in how far you have come. Have faith in how far you can go, but don't forget to enjoy the journey. With this quote by Michael Josephson, I conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The most awaited moment. Yes, now it's time we acknowledge the talent of our brimming students. The fruit of hard work and discipline will finally be reaped. I now request Professor Srinivasa Rao, the Controller of Examination, Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous, to call upon the toppers among the graduating students to come and receive their degree certificates. You will climb up the stage from your left-hand side and exit from the right. Thank you.
Honorable Chairman, sir, I would like to present the toppers of the PG programs. Ms. Neha Kumari of MSc Biochemistry with a CGPA of 8.7. Ms. Rinki Saha of MSc Biotechnology with a CGPA of 8.8. Ms. Sadhana Patra of MSc Chemistry with a CGPA of 8.7. Ms. Divya V.S. of MSc Computer Science with a CGPA of 8.9. Ms. Shreya Patra of MSc Microbiology with a CGPA of 9.1. Ms. Irene Antoniaria R of MSc Physics with a CGPA of 8.4. Mr. Rakshit R of MCOM with a CGPA of 8.5. Mr. N. Prabhanjan of MA English with a CGPA of 8.6. Mr. Akhil Vinoy of MTTM with a CGPA of 8.4. Sir, now I present the toppers of the UG programs. Mr. B. Hariprasad of BCom with a CGPA of 9.1. Ms. Yogeshwari Reddy R of BBA with a CGPA of 9.3. Ms. P.N. Ambika of BCA with a CGPA of 9.1. Ms. Manadeep Guha of BSc Life Science with a CGPA of 9.4. Ms. Samreen Kanum of BSc Physical Science with a CGPA of 9.3. Ms. Trishala Gunashila Ballal of BA with a CGPA of 8.8. Sir, now we are happy to present overall UG topper and PG topper. Ms. Manideepa Guha of BSc Life Science with a CGPA of 9.4. absent, sir. Student is absent. Student absent. We can announce. PG courses, Ms. Twinkle Agarwal of MFA with CGPA of 9.4. Behalf of our HOD, please come forward and collect a trophy. Coming, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we have the Controller of Examination, Professor Srinivasa Rao, to present the graduates to the Chairman.
Honorable Chairman, upon the recommendation of the faculty, I have the honor to present the students who have successfully gained the academic credits prescribed for the various programs. These candidates are examined and found qualified for said degrees, to which I pray for that they will get respective degrees. Dear graduates, please be rise while I present you to the Honorable Chairman. 12 candidates from MSc Biochemistry, please rise up. "27 candidates from MSc Biotechnology, please rise and keep standing. Please rise up. 28 candidates from MSc Chemistry, please rise. 8 candidates from MSc Computer Science, please rise. 27 candidates from MSc Microbiology, please rise. 9 candidates from MSc Physics, please rise. 16 candidates from MCom, please rise. 13 candidates from MCom FA, please rise. 7 candidates from MA English, please rise. 5 candidates from MTTM, please rise. 189 candidates from Bachelor of Commerce, please rise. 87 candidates from Bachelor of Business Administration, please rise. 71 candidates from Bachelor of Computer Applications, please rise. 62 candidates from BSc Life Science, please rise. 14 candidates from BSc Physical Science, please rise. 24 candidates from BA, please rise. I request Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous to confer provisional degree certificates for the UG and PG programs to the candidates. I request Honorable Chairman to admit the candidates.
The graduating students request all of you to rise and stay standing till I ask you to sit down. By the authority vested in me by Indian Academy Education Trust, I award you the provisional degree certificates, and I charge that by thought, word and deed, you prove yourselves worthy of the award. Thank you.
I request all the students to please be seated. Thank you, sir. You're educated. Your certification is in your degree. May you think of it as a ticket to the good life. Let me ask you to think of an alternative. Think of it as a ticket to change the world. I request our chief guest, Professor H.P. KINCHA, to please give the convocation address.
Good afternoon to all of you. Shri, the Chairman of the Indian Academy, Shri SOMASEKHAR, Principal of the College, Shri Srinidhi Parthasarathi Sir, Vice Principal Dr. Shalini, Controller of Examination, Shri Srinivas Rao, all the other members of the trust of this institution, all faculty members of the institution and also of the sister institutions who are here, parents who have come here, and the graduating students from this institution, 599 students as we were told at this convocation, who are receiving the pre-degree certificate. We'll have the formal convocation of the university, Bangalore University, at a later stage, where you will receive the formal degree certificate as they say. But at the graduation ceremony like this, because most of the students miss the formal convocation ceremony, and therefore this is in a spirit the real convocation ceremony for most of the students. I'm here this afternoon to be with you and probably share the pleasure and joy of getting these degrees from you. You know, getting a degree from an institution and spending whatever amount of time different for the undergraduate students, the integrated students, and the postgraduate students, which is different. Whatever time that you have spent here towards a particular cause, and this is the fulfillment of that cause that is being celebrated at this point of time. You should be very grateful at this point of time to your parents who have toiled hard to make you to come to this level and be a part of a generation of students with the graduation degree. And at the same time, you should be very grateful to your teachers who have made you capable of getting this degree. who have made you capable of entering life from now on in whatever form, professionally, in the academic field, or in a job sense, or whatever that you would like to do as an entrepreneur if necessary, or what you want to do beyond. I should tell you something in the beginning itself, or two things I should tell you. When you go to a dentist, the first thing the dentist tells you to open your mouth, and after saying that, he says that, look, whatever that I will do to your teeth, there may be pain, and if you feel pain, raise your right index finger so that I know about this. Why I am telling this is, the convocation addresses are almost very boring normally. Students don't like to hear long convocation addresses because the old people like me presume that I can give advice to the young students, which is very difficult to give at this point of time in this universe now. But I will try to talk something which is of interest to you, or which may be of interest to you, which you may remember after a few years or a few tens of years, maybe a few sentences you may remember. So if you feel that I have gone beyond, then raise your right finger. Don't make noise, don't make shouting and things like that. And so you can do that and tell me an indication that enough, now we want to be enjoying and throwing our caps in the air and enjoy the graduation ceremony. The second thing is, all that is read for my biodata is all XXX past. Everything is past for me. Nothing new at this point of time happening. And therefore I feel very diffident to speak to young graduates, to young people. It's very difficult to speak to young people nowadays, because the young people now have a system in which they have the opportunity to be able to get anything they want and the opportunity to learn anything they want, and they are much beyond the old people like me. So let me try to talk what I wanted to speak to you today for about 10 to 15 minutes, if you permit me to do that. And what I want to talk to you today, the theme of the talk that I wanted to give, and convocation addresses are supposed to be read, not given offhand like this. I'll try to read something and maybe try to speak to you something very offhand like this. The theme of the talk that I wanted to give you to young students is how to live lives, how to live life. That is the time. Because I heard the word two times, even from the Sri SOMASEKHAR sir and also from the principal sir when they were talking. This word life came in their speeches. This life came in their speeches. And what should I talk about life is the question that I was thinking about, and I made some notes for trying to speak to you about what is life. Now if you see the higher education system, what is higher education is a question that always comes to mind. I say higher education, getting a degree, BSc, BCom, MCom, MSc, or a BTech or MTech, or management degree, or whatever they want. That is all the life of an higher education system is. But what really is the higher education system? In my judgment, the higher education system is the illustration of the consciousness of that era, which is translated into education to be given to the student. And this consciousness of that era, of that period, time period, is what is reflected in the curricula and what is reflected in the teaching that is done by the various higher education institutions. And this consciousness is a part of the human activity and is a part of the human consciousness existing at that point of time and the human practices existing at that point of time. And we have moved this in this era from the very traditional old 2000 years back consciousness to the theological sense of the consciousness, when we had the German university and the UK, Cambridge and Oxford University built on the theological lines, and the systems that were prevalent at this point of time. And then moving on to the professional type of education that we have come into today's world, the professional teaching that has come into today's world. And right now, in the age of internet and in the age of connectivity, we are in what we call as the biospherical consciousness. And our education system are tuned or are need to be tuned to this biospherical consciousness of this particular era. Questions will come, how do we do it? What does this biospherical consciousness mean? And how do I put these in practice in my curricula and in my graduate attributes that I need from my students? These questions will obviously come, and there are long-winded answers that can be given for that, of this biological, of the biospherical consciousness of the era, and the effect on the education, higher education system that we have. The new education policy obviously talks of these things in a particular way, not with the same title or with the same word or with the same name, but it does try to talk about trying to move towards this type of consciousness to make individuals as global citizens rather than constrained to the citizenship of the particular country that we have, at least in the education field, And various measures, various things are being done at this point of time for achieving that global consciousness. It's also known that an industrial revolution takes place whenever a communication technology and an energy technology converge, and then there is an industrial revolution which changes the way the society lives. And when the society living pattern changes, obviously the human efforts and the human way of living change, and therefore the education need also change. So if you go the back of the first industrial revolution of this type, if you were to call, the printing technology which came, the printing technology that came, and along with the printing technology that came, along with the technology of steam, which were the two. This is the energy technology and this was the communication technology. When they came together, it gave rise to an industrial revolution. And you will see that in this era, the education system became democratic. Before this printing, the education was limited to only rich people, only to people who can afford a book. And a book was what? A copy of the earlier books written by hand by different people and taking 2-3 months to copy one textbook. And these textbooks were available only to some people who could afford those textbooks. With the printing machine that came into the system, the technology of education or the system of education became democratic and became available to everybody, This information of government policies, government circulars, government dictates was also available to common people by this printing technology. Before that, it was not. It was the prophecy or it was the requirement of a few people only, in the hands of a few people only. And that's how this first industrial revolution, by this combination of energy and the communication system took place. Now, if I come to the second era, I take the energy technology of oil, and the communication technology of electrical systems, whether it was the power communication or the communication systems in the form of every information to be transferred from place to place. That was the time when these two gave us the second industrial revolution. The second industrial revolution, which changed the way the humanity worked. I'll give you two examples of how this change took place. One, our living systems changed from a closed community to a community living in suburbs, spreading out, and big cities, conglomerates came up because of the communication ease. The oil technology gave rise to the IC engines technology and gave rise to also the systems of mobility that was possible by the oil technologies that was there. And I could live in this system. The society changed in a different way. The society changed. And that was the consciousness level change also, and that put us back into a new way of education also at that point of time. The management was a hierarchical management at that point of time. Hierarchical management necessitated by control, by the requirement of the control of the railway industry or the shipping industry or the oil industry. And we had that type of management system which was hierarchical. And that was that consciousness of that era of the education system. And today, the third industrial revolution is in place. The energy technology for this third is the renewable energy, We talk about the solar, wind, biomass, or the other forms of the renewable energy, including the water systems. And the communication technology is the internet that we are having it today. So these two technologies are now confluencing with each other and trying to create what I talked to you about, the biosphere consciousness of this era, and it's changing now the way people live. You must have observed this in many facets of the life that you go through, young people, old people, everybody that has gone through these changes that are taking place, and you feel quite a bit disturbed by the changes that are happening, by this convolution of the energy and the communication technology that we have. And what is the implication? I'll again give one or two implications only. We can talk about quite a few things about what are the implications of these two technologies coming together and working together. Just two. One is the way people live now has changed. It is all a digital life now. The way people life has changed. Digital life, connectivity, which we see in everyday life from morning till evening. The social medias, the social life that we have, the technology, the connectivity, the education system, everything has changed. Industry system, everything gets a word smart added on. A smart factory, a smart home, a smart power systems, a smart military, a smart war, anything, a smart dust, a smart aircraft. Everything that you talk about gets that word smart added on because of the digitalization that has happened in the world, and our world has changed. The second impact of these two confluences that have happened, the second impact is the management structure, which was hierarchical in the second industrial revolution, going from bottom to the top and top to the bottom, has now become much more horizontal, Especially for the management graduates, you will experience, and everybody else who goes into a job sphere or in a working atmosphere, you will find that the management structure has become much more horizontal. The communication flows have become much more available to many people at different levels, and the way of working has completely changed. The way of decision making has changed. I think the young graduates, I think you will realize this, that when you go for your sphere of activity, you will find this, that I'll have to manage with that type of work. And that type of work is in a world which the American military called as the VUCA world, VUCA world, which is a volatile, uncertain, and complex and ambiguous VUCA, ambiguous world in which you will be joining the mainstream of life. Now, in this mainstream of life of this VUCA world and the digital world that you are trying to talk about, you will find many things that are happening in this world. In this college, also, you have gone through these different courses of arts, sciences, biosciences, or the computer-related applications, and the computer science and the management-related courses. And we have gone through education of the academics that we have done for the last few years that you have been in this college. Now, each one of these subjects that we have learned at this institution is giving us a meaning of how to live our life. It is not just the gathering of the information that I did at this place from the teachers. I got the information about these various subjects, what I call as the knowledge of the various subjects that I got. But probably if you think deeply of your stay at this institution or any higher education institution, for a period of 3 years or 5 years or 2 years, whatever time that you have done, I hope that you have spent the time usefully in trying to think about what life is all about, what life is all about. And if you were to think about what life is all about, then you have to also think of what life is and why I learned philosophy, why I learned physical sciences, why I learned biological sciences, why did I learn economics, and why did I learn the physical sciences subjects or other subjects. What was the purpose of doing that? What was the purpose of doing that? I think this is one question that each one will be asking in your jobs or in your workplace. No, I learned in my school algebra, which is never useful in my working life. I don't know why I learned algebra. Or you will tell the same thing for why did I learn philosophy, or why did I learn something about social systems in my education, because in my job I don't use them at all in any time and all those things. But there is a purpose behind all these subjects being taught. And the purpose, the main purpose of doing this learning of the different subjects is to give you a handle of how to live life, how to live life. And that means, or that requires deeper thinking in you of what these subjects tell us and why do we learn these subjects. If you see the national education policy, again, they talk about the liberal education component to be taught to the engineering graduates and to the medical graduates and other professional courses also. And why do we say that? Those fellows also have to learn about history, philosophy, art, science, and music and things like that. Why should we do that? I think these are questions that young people have to ask this question of why of this. I'll just take a few minutes to maybe try to explain my point of view on that particular thing of why we do this subject teaching. See, if we, in the old Gurukula system that we had in our ancient time, in our country Gurukula system, there was one teacher or one rishi or one particular, what we may call as the guru, was giving education to all the group of students in a different disciplines. So what he was trying to give is, to give to the students was the wisdom that he had, not necessarily the knowledge basis to the extent that we want to give. He was trying to give us the wisdom of how to live life to his students. And that was the Gurukula system of the education that we had. From that Gurukula system of education, now we have moved on to the other consciousness, in fact, that we moved on to what we call as professionalism and specialization era. And we created the degrees in different disciplines, commerce, science, physical science, or the biological science, or management. And we created this, in this era of specialization, these special courses. And we called ourselves as professionals, and the teachers call themselves as specialists in those particular subjects, and were trying to give knowledge to the students of that particular subject or information about that subject to the students. In this bargain, or in this system of specialization and professionalism and teaching and research becoming important, research becoming more important, we moved on to a system of teaching the specialization well, but the question then remained, who was teaching to the students the wisdom of how to live the lives? That question definitely remained. The professional teachers of the different subjects were not teaching this wisdom of how to live the life, And it was normally left to the humanities department, that the humanities department will teach them this wisdom of life, is what it was left on to. And if I see this, the humanities department also subdivided itself, and the respective way of what we call as living the life was almost forgotten in our education system. We don't teach them. We now call them in terms of professional ethics. We call them as a value system, and the principals have said that in this college we want to do the value-based education. All this value-based education means what? Is the question that should come to our mind. What does value education mean to us? Is it that I will teach them to speak truth, or the Manu's original value system I teach them, which remains immemorial, it remains always true, the Manu's. and the new set of what we call as professional lives and the value system that I need in my digital life or my digital avatar is probably what I'm trying to teach them by taking a few classes, But I don't really teach them the essence of how to live life. And probably the subjects that we learn in our undergraduates, whether it is history, art, science, the sciences, physical, biological, management, economics, are all pointers towards how to live lives to me, are all pointers toward that. Let me take just one or two examples and not go through all the list, just one or two examples of what this mean, these different subjects teaching means to us. I noted on a few things. Let's take about philosophy or religion reading or what's the philosophy reading. And this is now stressed upon. Students are asked, what does philosophy teach us? Philosophy doesn't teach us the meaning of life. It doesn't teach us the meaning of life. But probably it teaches us the reasoning for how more vigorously living the life. It teaches the philosophy of the reasoning rather than the life itself. And that's the way I take the philosophy, and which will make me take decisions in my life which are more of what we call as what I learned from the philosophy courses that I had. I will not explain too much because I think I have 15 minutes time and I cannot do justice to all the points, all the subjects. I have noted down for all the subjects what they learn. I'll just take one more example. If I say that literature, arts, music, and then history, what does it teach us? What does it teach us? Not how to be, but teaches you to read, listen, and see closely with a keener appreciation of human emotions, and probably gives you the capability of living your life with that emotional touch, It is not becoming expert in music. It is not becoming expert in art, or not an expert in something of a particular era of history. It is not that. It is teaching you the emotional part of the life. And that is what one component of the living of the life is all about. If you take about history, history is not on the values you should hold most close to you. History is not teaching you that by doing this, a particular emperor lost, or by doing this, a particular fellow won the war at that point in time. History is not teaching you to do the same thing in your lives by following that. But what does history teach you? It helps you to gain perspective on your own experience. History provides models of how should we not live, how should we not live. That is what history provides us. Economics, or the subject of economics, doesn't teach me the distinction between rich and poor, the distinction between an individual and a collective group living together. History doesn't teach me the value of human labor and what is the relationship of this human labor to the other parts of the society, but it is giving you an understanding of the logic of markets, and it will also give you new ways to think about how to become and make life to be lived within a society with equalitarian values, I think we can talk about the physical sciences, biological sciences, the management subject, and the other subjects that we talk about in our 4 years of education. And all these subjects are then teaching you about the way of living life, And it is very important, young graduates, that you learn this. I'm sure you have done this by the stay in this particular institution and picked up some points of living lives, and are enjoying and probably would enjoy the fruit of that way of living life in the future. I want to quote from what Abraham Lincoln told to the teachers of his son, when he sent his son to the graduate school, and he asked the teachers to teach the students a few qualities. And I hope that when your parents sent you to this particular institution, they also expected that you will learn something by the stay at this institution for the 3, 4, 5 years that you had. I'll only quote a few of them. It is a full-page letter. It is a full-page letter of Abraham Lincoln to his teacher, to the teachers of that institution. And he says that teach him, he will have to learn, teach him that all men are not just and all men are not true, Teach him that for every enemy there is a friend, Teach him to learn to lose and also to enjoy winning. Teach him that it is far more honorable to fail rather than to cheat, Teach him to listen to all men. Teach him to laugh when he is sad. Teach him there is no shame in tears. Teach him gently. Don't cuddle him, because only the test of fire makes the best of the student. Let him also have the courage to be impatient. Let him have the patience to be brave. Teach him always to have sublime faith in the Creator and faith in himself also. All this is the things that he wanted his son to be taught in the graduate school where he sent him. And at the end he says, this is too big an order for you to fulfill, but please do what you can. He is such a fine little fellow that I am handing over to the graduate school. You young guys came to this graduate school with these list of things that you wanted to learn at this place. Some of that you learned from your teachers. Some of them you learned from your fellow students, your friends, your colleagues. Some of them you learned from your teachers in the sense of their character, in the sense of their leadership capabilities, not just in terms of their knowledge base, not in terms of their only knowledge base, but also about the way they discipline you, the way they behave themselves in the school for you to be following that example. This is something, and some things you must have picked up by going to the different activity profiles of the institutions, by going to the library, by participating in events, sports events, or the youth festivals, or whatever, or participate in the clubs that you have. All these are part of the education that you have gone through. And I'm sure in this process, you have learned the way of living life, Vivekananda said that education is on 4 legs. What are the 4 parts of the education? To learn, to do, and then to live. And what was the 4th pillar? I forget the 4th pillar. Now I'll get the memory. But to learn. To learn was the teaching that the student that you get. To do the experiments in the lab, do the projects that you do and things like that. And to live is what? To live in the clubs that you have, in the sports that you have, in the youth, to learn to live together with the other colleagues, forgetting about caste, creed, religion, language, whatever that you have, forget. You learn to live together. And the 4th pillar is to be self, which also you learn from your teacher. And I hope that in your stay here, when today you are graduating and coming to the end or conclusion of this stay in this particular institution, you will definitely remember that what you learned at this institution and how this will come handy to you in your journey of life that you will be starting from now onwards. I'm sure all of you want to be young always. And you can do quite a few things to remain young. And the other thing that I should tell you at this point of time about being young is that the technology will keep on changing. The advancements will keep on happening. And you'll have to live in this world of the technological advancements and the changes that will happen. And this era of biology, this century of biology, will also be seeing tremendous changes in the medical sciences and in the life sciences field. And mostly in maybe 10 years or so, 15 years, the average life of an individual, which was somewhere 60, now it is becoming 75, 80, probably will go to 120 years or 130 years, and it will go. I think one of the things that you should be now thinking about, or you should definitely ponder about, is how do I live this life of 120 years, or if I live for 140 years, what will I do? What will I do? I think you have to think about it. Otherwise, the retirement age is 60 years, and then you have 70 years of more life left, and what will you do in that 70 years? Is a question, big question. What will be the financial models? What will be the work models? What will be the retirement models? What will be the way in which I will live this life of 120, 130 years? That's why I said everybody wants to live young, and this is one thing that will happen, that it will make you young for quite longer time. And you have to also think about learning this new life, Let me end by telling you a story, small story, and probably that will be the end of my talk. And this story is about a professor, chemistry professor, and he goes to the class to do an experiment, and the wherewithals of his experiments are what? A beaker, and he's drinking his coffee. Obviously, he's drinking his coffee, and that doesn't happen in our classes. Teacher cannot enter the classroom with a cup of coffee, but it does happen in many institutions outside abroad. And he's having some stones, some pebble, and some sand. And that is the experiment he does. And he starts doing the experiment in the class by telling the students, look, I'm going to fill up this beaker. The experiment is to fill up this beaker. And he starts pulling the stones into the beaker. And after a certain time, no more stone can be put in the beaker. And there is no space left for any more stones. And then what does this ask the class? Is the beaker full? The class says, no, sir, it is still gaps up there. So he starts putting the pebbles, small pebbles into that, shakes it up, and the pebbles are filled up in this. And the pebbles go into the empty case, and now the jar looks full. And he asks the class, is it full? So quite a few students say, yes, sir, it is full. Some say, maybe. And the prof then puts the sand into this jar. And the sand again finds the places, empty places inside that, and finds that place, and goes and sits in those places. And I ask the class, is the jar full now, beaker full now? Everybody says, yes, it is full now, nothing more can go. Everything is filled up now in this space. And what does the prof do? Prof takes his cup of coffee and puts it in the jar. And the cup of coffee still goes, so that it was not full. That also goes into that. Or a jar of water goes into that. And that is the experiment, he said. And the conclusion that he drew, that why he did that experiment, that is what is important to us. Or he says that let us do the experiment in the reverse way now. I will first fill the jar with water or coffee, whatever it is. And then I will put some sand, some coffee will come out. Or then I will put some pebbles, some more things will come out. Both sand and water will come out. And then I will put stones in that particular jar. That experiment will not be successful. The jar will not become full in that. So the conclusion, the prof says, why I did that experiment for you is that, look, if the jar was your life, if this beaker was your life, and in the life you need everything. You need everything. You need coffee, you need sand, you need pebbles, you need stones, all. And if you have to live your life, that is the theme of the talk today, live your life today correctly, then you need all the four things. And those four things will happen only if you put these four things in your life in a sequence in which they were all there. That is the first sequence. First the stones, then the pebbles, then the sand, and then the coffee. If you do it in the reverse order, then your life will not be full because you don't have everything there in that. And what does this pebble represent? The stones. What do the stones represent in that life, part of life? It is the value system that you keep. It is the value system, most essential. It is beyond information. It is beyond that knowledge. It is the value system. It is the empathy. It is the emotions. It is the emotional strength that you carry with you all along in your life. And if everything else is not there, I'm sure you can continue with your life with these stones in the jar, So never give up those value systems. The respect to the society, the respect to the poor, the respect to the teachers, the respect to your parents, the respect to your society, your friends, everybody that is there. And that is the most basic essential of the life. the pebbles. Obviously, for living life, you need money, you need a good house to live with, you need a mobility vehicle, a vehicle to move about, you need the good things in your life, so you have to make money out of it. And the pebbles are all representing that, all representing that part of the comfort levels of the life. And you should be able to get those pebbles also and make your life comfortable, make that life comfortable. And that makes your life full if you have this. The sand are the other small things that you do in your life, the other small things that you like. It may be a walk, it may be some gardening, it may be going to a temple or a church or a mosque. It may be just doing something which are other parts of your life that you do, playing some game or something like that. And that also is a part of your life. You need that value system in your life of joy. And then, if you have these things, then your life will be full. Then your life will be full. And the professor says that was the lesson I wanted to tell you for today by doing this experiment. One student got up and says, sir, you didn't tell about the coffee. What does the coffee do in your life? What does the coffee do in your life? And the answer the prof gave for the coffee was that, look, whatever that you do in your life, stones, pebbles and sand, whatever you, never give a moment to have a cup of coffee with your friends. Always do that. Always do that. And that will be the best part of your life, I can tell you for sure. I can tell you for sure. So I talked to you about living life, how to live life. How to live life is what I was trying to talk to you. And I'll end by telling a prayer to you. And this prayer is for all of you. And all of you go to somewhere, wherever you believe is, and ask for something. So this is a person going and asking the God and says that I asked for strength. I asked for strength. And you gave me difficulties to make good, to make good. I asked for wisdom, and the God, you gave me problems to solve. I asked for courage, and you gave me some issues to be overcome. I asked for love, and you give me troubled people to be helped, I asked for I asked for fairness, and you gave me opportunities. You gave me opportunities. Whatever I asked, you never gave me. You never gave me all these things. But what you gave me, that I really got everything by doing the things that you asked me to do. And that is the lesson. That is the lesson. May your life always be very cheerful. May your path be bright in your life. And maybe wherever you go, you will see a happy welcome, and an expression of cheerfulness wherever you are. I think may God bless all of you, and I wish you, all of you, a very happy life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge and experience. An oath is a solemn promise, often invoking a divine witness regarding one's future action or behavior. I request our Honorable Chairman, Dr. T. Somasekhar, to administer the oath. I request the students to please stand and raise your right hand with your palm downwards.
Yeah, all graduating students, please stand up, and I'm going to administer oath. Before that, just would like to thank our chief guest for such a thoughtful graduation address to all of you. You have been extremely lucky to have such an exemplary, illustrious teacher, scientist, administrator to share his knowledge and wisdom with all of you. Thank you, Professor KINCHA. Dear students, I would like you to repeat after me. I'm going to make you take oath. I hereby solemnly pledge on this graduation day, that I shall honor and respect the people and constitution of my country with great dignity and love, and will contribute to bring about better change and growth of the nation in whichever field of career I choose. I promise to be committed to excellence, compassionate in conduct, selfless in service, constructive in promoting diversity, respectful and resourceful, honest with integrity, intellectual precision, firm and just in leadership, and uphold the reputation of Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous. Thank you, graduating students. Congratulations. You can take your seat now.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request our Honorable Chairman to give memento to our esteemed Chief Guest for the day, Professor H.P. KINCHA, with the fruit basket. Thank you, sir. Now I request the Honorable Chairman to declare the first part of graduation ceremony closed.
I declare part 1 of the graduation ceremony 2021 of Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous closed.
Thank you, sir. I extend my sincere gratitude to our Chief Guest, Professor KINCHA, for his valuable time and presence. Thank you for being with us this afternoon, sir. Students, faculty, and guests to please rise while the dignitaries leave the hall. Thank you. I request everyone to please take your seats. Students, please remain seated and maintain silence as we are leading to the second part of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to please rise as the dignitaries arrive.
India is students to community.
Thank you. I request you all to please take your seats. Graduation ceremony is an opportunity for the community to come together to take measures and resolve to move forward. It is an opportunity to declare and honor the achievements of our members. It is also
And
reflects
just
on
as
what we are,
importantly,
what we
learn from
aspire
each other.
towards, and the path we chose to follow as an institution. I now request Dr. T. Somashekhar, the Chairman of Indian Academy Education Trust, to award the recognition. I request all the dignitaries to please join the presentation. We have Professor Maria Mandis to call out names of BCom UG students.
Mr. Akib Pasha, Mr. Abdul Zaid, Mr. Abhishek, Ms. Aksha Rajamani,
The Academy has some of the best faculty where teachers are very
Mr. Adish Rahul, Ms. Aisha Ye, Ms. Aishwarya, Mr. Akshay Devadiga, Ms. Akshita, Ms. Almaz Begum, Ms. Anjali Chand, Ms. Anusha V, Ms. Archana K. Karan, Mr. Arjun Pillai, Mr. Arun Kumar Ji, Mr. Arun S, Mr. Arvindan, Mr. Arvind Raj, Mr. Arvind S, Ms. Ashwini S, Mr. Sai Charan, Mr. Balaji, Ms. Biola Jennifer, Ms. Bindushri V, Ms. Chinmay Shri, Ms. Chandana P, Mr. Chaitanyam, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Daniel, Ms. Deepa M, Ms. Deepa V, Mr. Deepak N, Mr. Dilip N, Ms. Divya MD, Ms. Divya S, Mr. Gangadhar C, Mr. Girish S, Mr. Girish SP, Mr. Gautam M, Ms. Hajira Fatima, Mr. Hariharan AS, Mr. Hari Prasad R, Mr. Harish Gowda N, Mr. Harish Kumar S, Mr. Harishwaran R, Mr. Harshavardhan Gowda, Ms. Harshita P, Ms. Hemalata A, Mr. Intisab Ahmad, Mr. Jabesh Thomas, Mr. Jagdishwaran R, Miss Jesseline Jennifer, Miss Joshna, Miss Jyoti M, Mr. Karthik S, Miss Kirtana P, Miss Kirtana R, Mr. Kirti Prasad,
Thank you, Ms. Maria Mendes. I now request Ms. Sharmila Sangeeta to please call out names of BCom UG students.
Kepsi Vinarasi, Mr. Kizar Ahmad, Ms. Kirtika, Mr. Kishore, Kausalya R, Ms. Kausalya S, Mr. Kaushik Chakraborty, Ms. Kruti S, Ms. Lata Priya, Ms. Lavanya M, Ms. Leena, Ms. Lokeshwari C, Ms. Luvina Felista, Mr. M. Ariharan, Mr. Madhusudan, Ms. Madiha Zama, Mr. Mahendra, Mr. Mahesha N, Mr. Mahesha Y, Manju P, Mr. Manoj K, Miss Maria Nancy, Mr. Mohammad Adnan Zahid, Mr. Mohammad Fardeen Beg, Mr. Mohammad Gauss, Mr. Mohammad Hafez, Mr. Mohammad Imran Khan, Mr. Mohammad Rehan, Mr. Mohammad Sadullah, Miss Moni Kritika, Mr. Morning Sissa, Miss Monisha, Miss N. Gayatri, Miss Nadia S., Mr. Nagendra Prasad, Miss Nalini, Miss Nandini G, Miss Nandini R, Miss Nayana, Miss Netravati, Mr. Pathan Yusuf Khan, Mr. Peter, Miss Pooja K. Mandal, Miss Pooja R, Miss Paulina, Miss Pramila, Mr. Prashant Kumar, Mr. Prashant M, Miss Preeti N, Miss Preeti P, Mr. Prince Yadav, Miss Netravati, Miss Varna Lakshmi, Mr. Rafiq, Mr. Rahul, Mr. Rajesh M, Mr. Raju Rao, Mr. Rakesh D, Mr. Rakesh Casey, Ms. Ranjita, Mr. Riaz Mohammed, Ms. Rupa, Ms. Kirti, Sabha, Ms. Sadia Halima, Mr. Sainuddin, Ms. Saima Sultana, Ms. Sandhya, Mr. Sakib, Mr. Satish Kumar S. Mr. Satish M.R. Mr. Sheikh Hidayat. Ms. Shalini. Ms. Shambhavi E.S. Mr. Sharan. Mr. Sharan Kumar. Sashi Khan. Mr. Shoaib Khan. Miss Simran. Kinchana S. Miss Cindy Jain. Miss Neha. Miss Neha R. Miss Soumya P. Mr. Sachindra. Miss Subhapriya. Miss Suprita. Mr. Suprit Raj. Mr. Suresh. Ms. Shweta R. Mr. Syed Owais Ahmad. Mr. Tamil Arasan. Ms. Tejaswini. Ms. Ume. Ms. Uzma Sultana. Ms. Vaishnavi. Ms. Vedavati. Ms. Vidya. Mr. Vignesh K. Vijay Kumar Shetty. Mr. Vijay Kumar Shetty. Ms. Vinodini. Ms. Vinuta. Ms. Yamini. Mr. Yash Kumar.
Thank you, Ms. Mary Sharmila. Now I request Ms. Mary Magdalene to please call out names of BPA students.
Mr. Akshit Rohan, Miss Alena Grace Joshi, Miss Anisha, Miss Anju, Miss Archita N, Mr. Asgar Ahmed, Mr. Asher Samuel Manoj, Miss Ayushi Sharma, Mr. Charles Donald, Miss T. Gloria, Miss Dania Kulsum, Miss Damini Lata, Miss Deandra Rebecca, Miss Dhanasuriya, Miss Dodla Nagmani, Mr. Durga Datta, Mr. Fahad Pasha, Miss Fareen Taj, Mr. Fuzail Khan, Miss Gagana Shri, Miss Harshita, Miss Hema Madri, Mr. Inam Khan, Mr. Isaac Xavier, Miss Joy F. Angelin, Miss Jyoti Kaur, Mr. K. Mahesh Ratnakumar, Mr. Karthik A, Mr. Karthik N, Mr. Karthikeyan, Mr. Kevin Nash, Mr. Kiran Benedict, Mr. Kaushik, Mr. Kaushik Prabhakar, Miss Kubra Begum, Mr. Kundan Kumar, Miss Likita N, Miss Madhura, Mr. Mohammad Afwan, Mr. Mohammad Mujib, Mr. Mohammad Osman, Miss Nazima Banu, Miss Nicole Marianne Fenwick, Mr. Nitin Yadav, Miss Pooja, Mr. Prasanna Kumar, Miss Pratibha, Mr. Prince Ambatu Aji, Mr. Puneet Kumar, Miss Rashmita, Mr. Richard M, Mr. Robin Alex Pinto, Mr. Sandeep M, Ms. Sania Khan, Mr. Shahid Hussain, Mr. Shaikh Altamash, Mr. Sharat S, Ms. Shweta L, Ms. Saumya V, Mr. Stephen Christy Raj, Mr. Syed Abdul Hanan Asif, Mr. Syed Abdul Rian, Mr. Syed Lukman Aman, Mr. Shahul Hamid, Miss Tasmia Unnisa, Miss Ume Uzma, Mr. Venkatesh Kanumali, Miss Wahida Banu, Mr. Yogesh Virajdar, Mr. Zabi Faraz.
Thank you, Miss Mary Magdalene. Now we have Miss Sri Vidya who will be calling out names of BCA students.
Mr. A. Likith, Mr. Abraham James R. Miss Aishwarya H. Mr. Akash S. Mr. Akshay E. Miss Akshita B.N. Mr. Anil Kumar Y.N. Miss Anusha J. Mr. Akwil Sibion. Miss Aisha Siddiq. Miss Bhavyashri B. Miss Aisha Zoya. Miss Aisha Zoya. Mr. Chandu C. Mr. Deena Avinash V. Mr. Dakshinamurthy S. Mr. Dinesh R.S. Mr. Francis A. Mr. Jayasurya C. Mr. K. Jeevan Kumar. Miss Kirtana S. Miss KP Sunita. Miss Lakshmi Prasanna. Mr. Lalit Chandru.
Hello, welcome to the postgraduate program in art.
Mr. Madan M. Miss Mala S. Miss Meenakshi G. Miss Monica NB. Mr. Mustafa Ali Bashir. Mr. N. Sai Kumar. Mr. Nitish Kumar KS. Mr. Padmanabhan T. Miss Pavitra H. Miss Pooja Kumari. Mr. Praveen Kumar S. Miss Priyanka Das B. Mr. Rajesh R. Miss Rakshita M. Miss Rakshita N. Miss Ranjita CK. Mr. Ravinder Puri C. Miss Rimsha Nazir. Mr. S. Surjit. Miss Sabha Khanum R. Miss Sanchana V. Mr. Sanjay Jangid. Mr. Shujadullah Beg. Miss Sonalia K. Miss Sonu G. Mr. Shrikant VP. Mr. Sundaresh P. Mr. Surya V. Ms. Swati B. Mr. Syed Khalid. Mr. Syed Mubarak. Ms. Taskin Surur. Mr. Tilak Kumar DB. Mr. Tirtha Kumar S. Mr. Umar Khalid Khan. Ms. V. Savitra. Mr. Vignesh K. Ms. Yashwini GB. Mr. Yedilarasan R.
Thank you, Ms. Srividya. Now we have Dr. Monica Bajpai who will call out BSc students.
Ms. Achal Bisht, Mr. Albert Mulenga, Ms. Archana Mishal, Ms. Ariba Hafiz, Ms. Bhargavi, Ms. Chaitra P, Ms. Chandana B, Ms. Gagana C, Mr. Venkat Sai Lohit, Mr. Irfan Pasha, Ms. Jakka Varshini, Ms. Sai Nikita, Ms. Joshna Rani, Ms. Kavya R, Ms. Mettu Sunisha, Ms. Pallavi S, Ms. Sabha, Ms. Sara Suman Khanum, Mr. Sriram Nagabhushan, Mr. Sijan Matthew, Soundarya H. Mr. Srihari S.
जज क्राइम खत्म करने के लिए अपनी जान जोखिम में डालता है। जज की गर्दन पर हर वक्त तलवार लटकती
Mr.
रहती है।
Subramanya S.
हर इंसान वो करता है जो उसे अपनी नजर में सही लगता है। गोली मार दी मैंने तेरे भाई को।
Miss Sugandha Angel.
लगता तो भूल गया ना तेरे प्राणा के गीता। बाप बेटे पे वो चोट का हाथ उंगली भी नहीं लगा पा रहा। थोड़े दिनों में आप
Miss Sushmita YL.
क्या करना है?
नेक्स्ट
Miss Vandana R.
अरेस्ट नोटिसेस सब खत्म करना होगा।
हरमन उसको इतनी आसानी से नहीं छोड़ेगा।
Miss Vandana S.
हरमन!
Miss Alicia A.
Sometimes vengeance is justice.
Miss Farah Fatima.
Sindhu madam, I wanted to say you've traveled
Miss
the whole
Impana
world.
M.
You've become so famous at such a young age. But you know, saving.
Miss Joyce Madeline. Mr. Tej Banta. Mr. Pavan Kumar. Mr. Prasad Hugar. Miss Raksha A. Mr. Sameed S.T. Miss Zaiba Tasleem. Miss Alia Nishad. Miss Dakshiayani S. Mr. Dinakar A. Miss Kavya S. Miss Sandhya MP. Miss Sumitra. Mr. Ranjit Kumar GS. Miss Samia Chatterjee. Mr. Satish NS. Mrs. Shanu Sharma. Miss Vandana R. Miss Farheen Banu. Miss Monisha A. Miss Pooja Susan Manoj. Taiba Begum, Miss Tejaswini, Mr. Muhammad Atif, Miss Swarupa Bhattacharji, Mr. Yasin Khan Zaid, Miss Aishwarya T.Z, Miss Ajit S, Mr. Ajit S, Mr. Ankit KV, Miss Farheen Taj, Mr. Rahul Jha, Miss Bhavna. Thank you, students.
Thank you, Dr. Monica Bajpai. We have Ms. Chaitanya Grace, who will call out names of students belonging to BA, MSc Biochemistry, MSc Biotechnology, MSc Chemistry.
Miss Deepika Sharma, Mr. Ehsanullah Ehsan Javed, Mr. Prajit, Miss Nafiza, Mr. Vipin Hendricks, Miss Laishram Rashmita Devi, Miss Manjula, Miss Sophia, Mr. Adarsh Beck, Mr. Amal, Miss Anzu Rebecca Thomas, Miss Anusha, Mr. Gali Kiran, Miss Maria Samantha, Miss Ronalda, Miss Aditi Saxena, Mr. Shahid Afridullah, MSc Biochemistry, Mr. Ajmal Roshan, Miss Purnima, Mr. Vishal, Ms. Shweta, MSc Biotechnology, Ms. Ankita Lakhera, Ms. Aparna Siddhant, Ms. Ashifa Shirin, Ms. Chaitra, Ms. Kalpana Priyadarshini, Mr. Kashish Mahajan, Ms. Minneri Vilas Bobde, Mr. Mukilan Lakshmanan, Mr. Pavan Kumar, Mr. Pranay Raja, Ms. Sadia Zaki, Ms. Saishta Tasneem, Ms. Sonu Bansal, Ms. Pooja Vijay, Mr. Ritik Maiti. MSc Chemistry, Ms. Aarti, Mr. Arjun, Ms. Chaitra, Mr. Ishwaraya, Mr. Harshavardhan, Ms. Jesty Sarah John, Ms. Karuna Fernandez, Ms. Kavya L, Mr. Manu, Mr. Mohan Kumar, Ms. Neeti MS, Mr. Pawan, Ms. Ranjita, Miss Shruti, Mr. Subhash, Mr. Sunil, Miss Sushma, Mr. Tejesh Gowda, Mr. Tribhuvan, Miss Udaya, and Mr. Vishnu Ardana.
Thank you, Ms. Chaitanya Grace. Now we have Mr. Sudhakar Malla, who will call out names of streams: MSc Computer Science, MSc Microbiology, MSc Physics, MCOM, MCOM FA, MA English, MTTM.
Moving on to MSc Computer Science, Mr. Akhil Raj, Mr. David Johnson, Ms. Jayashree, Ms. Maganti Shanti, Mr. Puneet Lawrence. Moving on to Department of MSc Microbiology, we have Mr. Abhijit Aji, Ms. Akshara, Miss Angelina Zapate, Mr. Arjun KP, Miss Bhumika HD, Miss Bhumika HD, Miss Bora Yamini, Mr. Golla Rakesh Kumar, Miss Lavanya, Mr. Mamid Vinay Kumar, Miss Manavi, Miss Pulla Sweta, Miss Sabha Konin, Miss Sahna P, Miss Surya Mol, Miss Tejashwini, Mr. Tiruvejala Shanmukesh. Moving on to MSc Physics, we have Miss Geetanjali, Miss Meera Joshi, Miss Manushri Devi Gowda, Moving on to M.Com. We have Mr. Benjamin. Miss Harshita. Miss Maria. Mr. Mohammed Suhail. Miss Nirja. Miss Nirmala K. Mr. Nitin Thomas. Miss Preeta V. Miss Preeti R. Miss Priyavardhani S. Miss Shilpa. Mr. Syed Wasil. Moving on to M.Com and FA. Miss Ashwini. Mr. Gururaj. Miss Habias. Miss Madhavi. Miss Malini T. Miss Shilpa A. Mr. Syed Irfan. Moving on to MA English, we have Mr. Faiz, Miss Manibharati M. Miss Neha Kumari. Miss Rosie. Miss Samri. Mr. Tejnath Chauhan. Moving on to MTTM, we have Mr. Ashil. Mr. Jacob. Mr. Jitin Abraham. MSc Biochemistry. Miss Roshini. Miss Pooja Meena.
Thank you all. I request the dignitaries to please take your seats. Gratitude opens the door to the power, the wisdom, the creativity of the universe. I now call our Vice Principal, Ms. Shalini, to please deliver the word of thanks.
A warm, graceful evening to all the ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all of you. Before thanking anyone, I thought we should thank God for two reasons. One is for making this event physical. We were so worried whether the third wave will take us through. Second thanks again goes to God for the wonderful weather today. Yesterday also we have witnessed. On behalf of management, principal, staff and students, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all for making this event a memorable one. My sincere gratitude and thanks to Dr. Somasekhar, Chairman, Indian Academy Group of Institutions, for all his encouragement and support. Thank you, sir. Thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Srinidhi, leader, an able administrator, and the guiding force in all our activities. Thank you, sir. Controller of examination play a very important role in the autonomous institution. On this occasion, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Srinivas Rao and his team, with Deputy Controllers of Examination, Professor Brito and Professor Suresh, for demonstrating high level of commitment and getting things done on time. Thank you, sir, for you and your team. Thanks to all the HODs and my dear teachers who have prepared these 599 excellent graduates. Thank you so much. Thanks to the heads of various institutions of IAGI for joining and gracing the occasion. Our gratitude to all the parents who have joined us online. Thank you so much. Thanks to media personnel for the coverage and publishing in the newspapers. Office bearers of the Student Council, thank you for being this part of the program. I would like to take this opportunity to place on records our hearty thanks to all the members of different committees for the perfect logistics support and guidance that all of you have extended towards the success of this event. I extend my sincere gratitude to all the members of all the committees for the works executed. Thank you so much. I also extend my thanks to the staff members of Principal's Office, University Section, Accounts and Admissions, Placement Cell for their enormous cooperation in all our activities. Thanks to Mr. Chandan and team for the technical support for the live coverage. Thanks to Madhuraju and team for the infrastructural arrangements. Yes, my dear students, I extend a special thanks to all of you who are the highlight of today's program for being with us today. My heartfelt congratulations to you and your families. Be thankful to your parents. My best wishes for your personal and professional success. I know all of you will make all of us proud and make your alma mater also proud of yourself. I wish all the very best in all your future endeavors. My appeal to all of you, my dear students, be an active member in our Alumni Association. We want you to partner with us in all our activities. Whenever institution wants you, you should be ready for the institution. May God bless you. All the very best. Have an excellent evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shalini. Congratulations to our graduates of batch 2021. We're all proud of you. You've worked hard, you've succeeded. You now should celebrate. This day signifies a new beginning for each and every one of you. The closing hour has finally arrived. Tomorrow, new challenges and opportunity await graduates that will test their mettle as improving individuals. As they continue with their journey, may they look back to this stage in their life with fondness and pride. Enjoy your day of celebration with your family and friends. Thank you and good luck. We conclude with the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
I request everyone to please remain standing while the dignitaries leave. I request everyone to please get back to your respective rooms to please give back your robes. Thank you.